Why am I standing in front of the Grateful Dead house here in San Francisco's Haight-Ashbury? Because if you can remember this, it may be time to talk about you and Prop 19. I'm David Poulsen, top San Francisco realtor with over 30 years experience in real estate. Before we get into the video, can you do me a favor and hit the like and hit the subscribe button? If you've owned your San Francisco home for more than 20, 30, 40 years, your property tax bill is probably the best financial deal you have. And the single biggest reason most long-time San Francisco homeowners don't sell, even when the house is too big, the stairs are too many, or the kids have moved away, is they're terrified of losing it. I'm David Poulsen, fourth generation, San Francisco Bay Area, 30 years in this market. And today I'm going to walk you through Prop 19 portability, the rule that lets a homeowner over 55 sell their San Francisco home, move almost anywhere in California, and bring their low Prop 13 tax base with them, up to 3 times in your lifetime. Not bad. Here's why this matters more in San Francisco than almost any other market in California. Under Prop 13, passed in 1978, your assessed value can only go up about 2% a year, no matter what the market does. So if you bought a Marina Edwardian in 1985 for, let's say, $400,000, your taxable value today is somewhere around $700,000. Your annual property tax bill is roughly $8,400. So bought 1985, $400K, factored base year value, $700K, annual tax $8,400, today's market value, $3 million. Tax if reassessed, $36,000 a year. But the market value of the home today, $3 million, maybe more. If a new buyer purchases it tomorrow, their property tax bill would be around $36,000 a year. The difference between what you pay and what the new owner would pay is your single most valuable, most invisible asset. And before Prop 19, the rules for keeping that benefit when you moved were so restrictive that most sellers just stayed put. You could only port your base into one of 10 participating counties. The replacement had to be of equal or lesser value, and you only got one shot. Prop 19 blew that all up. So what Prop 19 portability actually does, here's the new deal in plain English. If you're 55 or older, severely and permanently disabled, or a victim of a wildfire or governor-declared natural disaster, you can sell your primary residence and transfer your factored base year value, that low Prop 13 assessed value, to replacement primary residence anywhere in California. Not just the 10 old participating counties anywhere. Truckee, San Diego, Carmel, Healdsburg, Tiburon, Palm Springs, anywhere. And if you're 55 plus, you can do this up to 3 times in your lifetime. Disaster victims, by the way, have no lifetime cap. You have a 2-year window: the sale of your original home and the purchase or completion of your replacement home have to be within 2 years of each other. The order doesn't matter. You can buy first, sell first, doesn't matter, but the gap can't exceed 2 years. And you have to actually move into the replacement property as your primary residence. This isn't an investment property trick. This is a homeowner benefit. The math when you downsize versus upsize. Now, this is where most of the confusion lives. Let's break the math into 2 scenarios. Scenario 1, equal or lesser value. You can sell your marina home for $3 million. You can buy a replacement home in Sonoma or Sausalito for $2.5 million. Because the replacement is less than the original, your factored base year value transfers cleanly. That $700,000 base year value and the $8,400 tax bill moves with you to the new house in a new county. Done. Scenario 2, greater value. You sell the marine home for $3 million, but you find a place in Tiburon for $3.5 million. You can still port your base, but there's an upward adjustment. The taxable value becomes your old factored base, plus the difference between the new market value and the old market value. So in this case, $700,000 base plus $500,000 difference equals a new taxable value of $1.2 million. That's still roughly $14,400 a year in property tax instead of $42,000 a new buyer would pay on the same Tiburon house. You're saving close to $28,000 a year and potentially $500,000 over 20 years of ownership. Now, there's some technical fine print. If you buy the replacement within the first year, there's a 105% allowance. Within the second year, it's 110%. Those thresholds matter when the replacement is slightly more expensive than the original. Your CPA and the assessor's office can walk you through that on your specific numbers. I'll put the BOE letter in the description. Here's something most explainer videos miss. You don't have to use all 3 of your lifetime portabilities at once. Think of them as chess moves. I've had clients who've used their first portability in their late 50s to downsize from a 4-story Pacific Heights house into a single-level marina condo. Use their second portability 10 years later to move to a Marin County to be closer to the grandchildren, and held the third one in reserve in case they needed assisted living or wanted to move closer to a different child or wanted to consolidate after losing a spouse. That third move, by the way, is the one that breaks a lot of families. A widowed spouse in their 80s sitting in a 4-bedroom house they can't manage anymore, terrified of a $30,000 a year property tax jump. Prop 19 portability is the answer, and most people in that situation don't even know they're sitting on it. Here are 5 mistakes I see San Francisco owners make. After 30 years in this market, here are the 5 mistakes I see San Francisco homeowners make with Prop 19. Save these. Number 1, assuming you can use it if your name isn't on title as the homeowner. You or your spouse have to be the homeowner of record. And you have to have, in order to get that homeowner's exemption on file, and have to have been living in your primary residence at the time of sale or within 2 years of the replacement purchase. Rental properties don't count. Second homes don't count. Number 2, forgetting the 2-year window. I had a client a few years back who sold a Russian Hill condo, planned to build a new construction in Sonoma, and the contractor went sideways. 2 years and 1 month later, the replacement property was done, but he lost his portability. The 2-year rule is in the California Constitution. No assessor has discretion to extend it. Number 3, not filing the claim. This is BOE Form 19B. You should file it with the county where your replacement property is located. You have 3 years from the date of the replacement purchase to file for full retroactive relief. File later and you only get prospective relief. Starting the year you filed, don't leave that money on the table. Number 4, confusing portability with the parent-child rules. Prop 19 also changed the rules for inheriting property, the parent-child exclusion. Those are completely separate rules with their own restrictions and their own value caps. Don't conflate them. I'll do a full video on that one separately. Number 5, and this is the big one, selling before you've planned the replacement. I've watched families list, sell, take the cash, and then go shopping 6 months later. They're priced out of the replacement they wanted. 18 months later, they panic buy something that doesn't fit. 2 years later, the clock runs out. The right sequence for most San Francisco sellers is identify your replacement region or replacement neighborhood, run the Prop 19 math on 3 of the 4 candidate properties before you list. Get pre-approved for any financing you'll need, then list. The 2-year clock is generous, but it punishes the unprepared. So, in summary, if you're a San Francisco homeowner over 55 or coming up on 55, here's what I do this week. 1, pull your most recent property tax bill and find the factored base year value. That's the number you're protecting. 2, get clear on the gap, the difference between that number and what your home would sell for today. The gap is the size of the asset property 19 is protecting. 3, decide whether you have 1 move in your future or 2, or maybe even 3. Then think about sequencing. 4, talk to a CPA who actually knows Prop 19. Not all of them do. And talk to a real estate agent who's run these numbers on real SF homes, not someone who just watched a webinar. I'm not a CPA, I'm not a tax attorney, and nothing in this video is tax or legal advice for your specific situation. But I am a fourth generation realtor here in San Francisco who's helped a lot of San Francisco families make the move the right way. And if you'd like to talk through your specific situation, my contact info is below. And I put together a free Prop 19 portability worksheet you can download. Link in the description. If this was useful, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm David Poulsen, top San Francisco realtor with over 30 years of real estate experience. I cover this kind of homeowner strategy every week. And if you know someone whose parents are sitting on a low base year value San Francisco home and don't realize they have these options, send them this video. This could be the most expensive thing they ever didn't know. This is David Poulsen coming to you live here in San Francisco's Haight-Ashbury. All right, everyone, and back at the Grateful Dead house right behind me. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.